Hey everybody, it's Gene here with Monitoring Tool Reviews, where I personally test each and every monitoring product I can get my hands on, give it a review to help you figure out if it's something you want to look more into for your organization's monitoring needs. And today, I'm going to be looking at New Relic APM. So let's get into the review. This video is part of a series I'm doing about New Relic APM. In this one, I'm just going to focus on the installation and configuration. In other videos, I'm going to go into some details about two other key pieces when you're first starting with a monitoring tool, and that's setting up dashboards and reports and setting up alerts, because you don't want to be sitting in front of dashboards all day waiting for things to go bad. Obviously, you have better things to do with your time than that. So let's get to it. First, as you can see here, let's take a look at the New Relic APM product page. If you're not familiar at all with New Relic, I'm going to give you a quick overview, but I won't go into great detail about it. This video is mainly for someone who has heard of New Relic APM but hasn't really seen it, or maybe is just wondering what it's like. So, New Relic APM is an agent-based monitoring solution. You install and configure a software agent where your application runs. It collects basically everything about what's happening within your app, and about every minute or so, it sends the data in the form of metrics to New Relic servers. And as you can see here, it gives you information such as information about your application stack. So you get a view of all of your applications in the operating environment. A number of different. It can integrate with some of the other New Relic products, as you can see here. Helps. It can help you with cloud migration and other things. And in terms of features, with the agent installed while your application and its components are running, you can monitor not just the application itself, but the databases that are part of the application. As you can see here, application. So you have not just the application monitoring, you can do database monitoring, you have availability and error monitoring. One of the things that I really like is the ability for dynamic alerts. As you can see here, that's one of the pro features in New Relic APM. I think applications these days are just far too complex to be setting static thresholds for everything. So this is a very nice feature to have, and of course you get dashboards and reports. That's common basically among every monitoring solution. So no surprise there. But I think the one feature that definitely is New Relic certainly needs is lastly security. Unlike the more traditional monitoring products, New Relic APM doesn't have an on-prem option. All of your data that it collects basically gets sent out to the cloud where the New Relic servers are, and that's what you access to see the application data. So them making sure that this information that's collected from your applications is not compromised is a pretty important thing. It's a pretty big deal. So they have a number of security features that reduce the possibility of something happening like that. That would be obviously bad for you, bad for them. And in terms of pricing, New Relic is one of the first APM vendors I can remember to price based on a subscription service. So the barrier to entry with them was fairly low compared to some of the early APM vendors, early monitoring providers that that required you to effectively buy an annual license before you even got full use of the product. And as you can see here, they have a couple of options. They have the Pro, they have Essential options. The Pro is $25 a month currently, and Essential starts at $12.50 a month. So you could theoretically start to instrument one app for with the Pro version for about $25 US a month and see how it goes. And if things go well, you can add to it. Now, so I like the flexibility, but with a lot of apps and lots of data, this price flexibility could easily get out of control. So you need to be careful with that. So that's all the marketing stuff. Let's get into the technical details of getting started with New Relic APM. To get started with New Relic, the first thing to do is obviously sign up for an account. One of the things I like is the free trial they give you. And even after the free trial, in some cases, you get a limited version of the product. But honestly, I think 14 days is not really enough to thoroughly test a monitoring product with your own organization's data, but that's better than many other vendors who give you nothing other than their own demos. Some will do a proof of concept, but even that can be limited at times. So anyway, once you have an account, you go and log into New Relic. And once logged in, the first place you usually get taken to is the New Relic APM product. Whether you have one product or many of New Relic's other products, you'll see links for New Relic's whole product suite. Now, like I said, the plan is to just walk through the installation and configuration needed for New Relic APM. So I won't be going into any of the others in the product line today. As you can see on this page, though, is that to get started with New Relic APM, you have to select which agent you want to install. New Relic has an APM agent for a number of programming languages. Some of the most popular ones are here, like Java, PHP, .NET, so and many others that you can kind of see here. But once installed, these agents are going to hook into your app, and then they'll be able to collect data on everything going on inside your app as it's being used by your end users. So in this walkthrough, I have a .NET test app that I'm using. So I'm going to click on the .NET agent. Once I click on the agent, you can see I get the option to get a license key. I will need to add this key when I configure the agent so New Relic knows it's a valid account. I can also take a look at the installation documentation they provide. I think it would have been nice to provide direct links to the various systems I can install the agent on, but it's not the case here. Anyway, so this page shows me instructions for Windows and Linux systems. But my test app is a Docker app. So I have to go under Other Installation to find that option, as you can see here. What I need to do in my case is to go into Dockerfile to add the New Relic agent to my app. So let me do that. Now that the agent configuration information has been added to Dockerfile, I can build the Docker app so the agent can get installed and can run. Once the app is built, I can restart it. Now, one of my biggest issues with agent instrumentation is that you often have to restart your app in order for the agent to hook into it. So if you want to monitor a production application, you have to find some downtime, probably on the weekend, to do this. If you have a dev or staging version of your app that's close enough to the production version, you should be fine. But if not, you may not notice, for example, if instrumenting the agent adds in the overhead in production that you couldn't see in dev because dev and prod are a bit different. So it's something to consider when using not just New Relic, but any agent-based host instrumentation product. Okay, so I go stop my app. I confirm that it stopped, and then now I'm restarting it. So it's starting to restart. It's going through its process. The next thing that I want to do is verify that it does in fact restart and it's not running. So I verified that it's restarted. Now what I want to do is to go in there and try to generate some basic traffic, and now I can go and see if the data is coming up in New Relic. I can see data now already coming in, and that was pretty quick, so I like that. I take a quick look around. I can see transactions from my app coming in already. I can take a look at the errors if I want to and see some other bits of pieces of information. So lots of information in here that I can take a look at as my app gets more use. So there you have it. What makes the installation easier is the fact that it only involves the agent. There's no console for me to install. There's no separate box that I need to provision to receive the data from these agents. Not having to do any of that simplifies New Relic APM implementation significantly. That makes things a lot easier. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd have to give the installation and configuration piece of it an 8 out of 10. It was pretty simple once everything kind of got my system information got resolved. So that was a good one.